Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you for coming back to Whole Living Yoga channel today. And we'll be practicing a very gentle, anywhere, anytime practice today. So this practice can be used as yoga warm-ups for a more intense workout or intense yoga practice, or you can simply use this gentle practice as a complete practice. So we'll be engaging in seated positions, some standing positions. We will also be using the mat both on the front of our body and the back of our body. You might want to bring a blanket along, maybe a couple of blocks if you have some, a strap, that could be a yoga strap, or it could be the belt of a robe or an old tie if you choose to do that. You can also use a towel for any of the stretches. So let us begin. So we're going to come into a comfortable seated position here. You can rest your hands where they feel most comfortable. We'll just take a couple of moments now to settle in to our mat and into our practice. So we'll sit nice and tall. So begin to really extend through the crown of the head. So feel yourself growing taller here. Let's take a nice deep breath and bring the shoulders up, back, and down. As you begin to become aware of a broadening across the chest, shoulders relaxed, arms relaxed. And I'll ask you here to close your eyes. So let's just take a moment to close our eyes, and we'll just take a couple of nice deep cleansing breaths in. We'll take that breath in through our nostrils and exhale it from your mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling from the mouth. Inhale and exhale. Now gently relaxing the mouth, allow for your tongue to rest comfortably at the bottom of your mouth. Create a small amount of space between your teeth, bringing some ease and relaxation to your jaw. And we'll begin to just breathe in and out here through our nostrils. So just taking a moment to simply check in with the body. So we're just going to take a general scan of the body, and you can begin from your toes or from the crown of the head, and slowly just scan your physical body, becoming aware of how it is that you're feeling today. Continue to breathe in and out through your nostrils, just noticing and observing. Allow yourself to witness here rather than judge any particular part of your body. Just simply witness your state of being here physically. Notice how your tailbone and hips are relaxed onto the ground. Feel that grounded effect. Notice your feet. And then as you complete your exploration of your physical body, you might just bring some awareness to the mind. Knowing that it's completely normal for you to have some thoughts maybe moving through, maybe some thoughts or ideas are present. And if that's obvious to you at this time, I want you to see if you can just allow those thoughts to be. Resisting this idea of engaging with any particular idea or thought, and just allow it to pass by as if it were a cloud in the sky. So attaching that thought or idea to a cloud and just simply observing it as it moves across, through, and out. As you begin to find some clarity here in the mind, you might begin to observe your breathing. So just bring that awareness now into your breath. Notice what area of your body is expanding or contracting. And the ideal breath to try to engage in here is inflating the belly, inflating the rib cage, bringing the breath all the way up into the chest and throat. And then slowly exhaling in that similar fashion from the throat to the chest, rib cage, and slowly exhaling as you draw the navel in toward your spine. So let's take 5 rounds of breath in this way, filling the belly, filling the rib cage, the chest, the throat, and exhaling it down. You might even attach a mental count to your breathing, counting in silently the breath as it reaches the throat, and silently counting down as your breath releases and navel draws into spine. So we have 2 more quiet rounds of breath. Now we'll slowly begin to bring our hands together in a prayer position. So fingertips are up towards sky, elbows are gently guided outward, thumbs move in towards center of your chest, and perhaps you'll begin to bow gently toward the fingertips, toward your heart center, and you might just take a moment here to set an intention for this time on your mat. An example of an intention could be, I'll be at peace throughout my practice. Maybe it's just the word peace or joy, anything at all that comes to you through the mind and the heart, sealing it in for yourself here. As you find that you've completed your intention, we'll relax the hands down into the lap and we'll slowly begin to bring those eyes opened and closed as we come back onto our mat, present in our space. Great. So we're going to begin with some gentle neck stretches here. So we'll take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale gently, we're going to guide the right ear down to the right shoulder. Just relax it out. We'll begin then to extend the left hand, reaching fingertips down toward the ground. They may or may not touch. And then inhaling the right hand up and over top of ear. Take a breath, and as we exhale slowly, allowing for your right ear to come down toward your shoulder and continuing to extend out through the left fingertips. And here then we'll begin to rotate that left thumb up toward the sky. Take a nice deep breath, grow tall. And as we exhale, slowly extending the arm back for a nice stretch. So we're giving the neck a stretch. We're also feeling a nice mild stretch over top of shoulder, maybe even down the arm. Take one more breath. And slowly we'll bring that hand back to neutral, turning the palm back down toward the earth, releasing and releasing the head and bringing it back into a neutral position. Setting now that right hand down toward the earth, taking a breath and exhaling, left ear down to left shoulder, relax it out. Let's begin to draw that left hand up and over, finding just that area above your ear. Inhaling, tall, exhaling, allow the weight of your arm to slowly begin to relax that left ear down toward your left shoulder. Let's begin to extend now, lifting the fingers a bit up off the floor, reaching the fingers long toward the edge of your mat, and then turning the thumb up. We'll take a nice deep breath, grow tall. Exhale, gently guiding the hand back, the arm back. Going to that place where you feel a mild, gentle stretch, and take 2 more breaths while you're here. We'll simply guide that arm back, turning the fingers down, resting down that right hand, and releasing the head, releasing that right arm down. We'll then move into shoulder shrugs. So let's roll those shoulders up toward the ears and exhale, release it down. Maybe your fingers come down to the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. 3 more rounds. Use your breath Lengthen through the crown of your head. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling and gently exhaling. Great. Let's bring those arms now up to a nice neutral stretch. So extending the wrists out from your shoulders here. We're going to then take the left fingertips and bring them down to the earth, turning that right palm up, taking a nice long stretch here through the side body. Feel your hips relaxed and your side body lengthening. Through the breath, we'll inhale and exhale. Find a gentle little bend in that left elbow and bring yourself over. Inhaling, coming up. And we'll repeat for 3 more times. Breath in and out. You can breathe in and out through your nostrils, or if you feel a greater release through the mouth, you can exhale through your mouth. Coming back to a neutral position, let's begin to lift that left arm up towards sky. Let's face those palms toward one another and begin to frame the ears with the upper arms, growing taller through your torso, engaging through the lower belly here. Bringing those palms together, interlacing your hands and finding the index fingers to point upward toward the sky. We'll take a deep breath, broaden through the chest, taking your gaze up to the thumbs. Slowly coming back into your neutral position through your head. Slowly now lowering that right hand to the earth, fingertips come down, reaching up through the left, and we'll find those nice side stretches here to the left side. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling, exhale. Final one here, inhaling up and gently exhaling. Wonderful. Let's reach on up and begin to bring that right hand back up, palms to face one another, framing the ears, broaden through the chest, drop the shoulders, palms come together, interlacing index fingers, reaching towards sky, arms extending. Take your gaze up to the thumbs, lifting the heart, maybe just reaching back. Let's come back to a neutral position here with the head and arms and shoulders. Exhale and fully release those arms. Great. Now from here, we're going to begin to take our feet forward. So we're going to come into a bound angle position. We're going to draw those heels in as close as we can, relaxing those knees off to the side. We're going to butterfly now the knees up and down. So let's lift and lower, lift and lower. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take that 4 more times. And final one, relax it out. Sitting nice and tall, relax the shoulders into the back, and now we're going to come forward. Inhaling, and as we exhale, coming forward, nice long stretch. Some of us might be able to bring those hands forward a bit more, holding on to those toes, taking a larger breath in, and exhale, release it down. We'll slowly inhale and come back into a neutral position. From here, let's bring those hands back behind us, planting the hands down, engaging through the arms, so pressing the arms and hands down to the ground. Feel the chest opening, and let's take the gaze up toward the ceiling. Now we're going to move with our breath. As we inhale, we'll come forward. And as we exhale, we'll come back. Inhaling and exhaling. Repeat for 2 more rounds. And slowly make your way back into a neutral position. Great. Let's bring our knees now in towards center. And let's slowly begin to bring ourselves to the short edge of our mat. So bringing ourselves to the short edge of our mat, bringing our feet down toward the earth. Now we'll begin to work on our spine. So we're going to do seated cat-cow here. So we're going to hold on to our knees. We'll take a nice inhale, broaden through the chest, taking your gaze up slightly. And as we exhale, begin to draw your navel into the spine, tilting the pelvis forward and rounding, tucking your chin. Inhaling, coming back up, and exhaling. Inhaling up, and exhaling. Move through this for 4 more rounds of breath. And slowly come back into a neutral position. From here, we're going to extend our legs. So you might have to scoot yourself back. Let's extend both legs. Let's just take a moment to give our legs a nice little shake. Toes are up toward the sky. And from here, we're going to come into a nice tall L sit. So really lifting the lower pelvic floor, feel the sitting bones and hips spreading out. Shoulders are rolled back and down. We're going to draw those elbows back toward the sides of the ribs and just create a fish shape with both hands. We're going to row here. So this is a nice total body flow here. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And as we exhale, pointing your toes, reaching forward, and then slowly pulling back as toes come up, engaging the abdominal muscles here, inhaling and exhaling, row it back. Keep the breath flowing in and out through your nose. And let's take 4 more rounds. Final one. Come back into a neutral sit. Let's now bring those hands together out in front of the navel. We'll interlace those hands. We'll keep the legs engaged and together, toes up toward the sky, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to now work that upper body in a similar fashion, extending the arms, taking the fists forward, maybe coming up over your toes, reaching back, engage those abdominal muscles, and begin to stir here. So I like to think of this as stirring a big pot. Use your breath. Relax the face. For 3 more. And release. Come back into center. Find a nice tall sit. Active legs. Toes are up toward the sky. Check in with your shoulders that they're down and relaxed. Good. Now we'll go in the opposite direction, extending out, reaching forward, reaching around and back. Four more. Final one. And coming back into center. Great, come back into center. Let's release those hands. Let's take a nice inhale. Reaching up, take that gaze up. And as we exhale, slowly releasing down. Bringing your head into a neutral position. At this time, we're going to take our left knee and bring it to a comfortable bend. We're then going to release that left knee down, finding the base of your foot to come into the inner thigh. Rotating the body so that you're facing your extended leg here. We'll take a nice inhale, reaching those arms up as we come into Janu Sirsasana here. Inhaling, slowly exhaling, coming forward. Now here's a perfect place to use a belt or a strap. You can bring that strap up over the toes, holding on to the strap and slowly descending. Any amount that feels good. Remember, throughout this practice, you'll just engage in those stretches and postures that allow you to feel a beautiful stretch without discomfort. Relaxing and finding length through the back of the neck. Relax your shoulders. Let's take 2 more breaths. Come back to that length of breathing that you were able to obtain in the beginning part of the class. Let's take our gaze and look up over our toes. Let's begin to re-extend the arms if you're able. If you have a strap, you'll let that go and reach forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, and let's exhale and release. Now, at this time, I'm going to take the left hand and place it behind the left hip. We'll extend the right arm. We'll be lifting up here onto the shin and knee, lifting our hips up. So take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, slowly sweeping around, lifting up, and get a nice full body stretch, reaching nice and long through the fingertips, pointing down through the right toes. And then we'll exhale, we'll come on down. We'll take that 2 more times, inhaling up, exhaling back, inhaling, and final one, exhale. Circling the arm any amount that feels good, really enjoying this full body stretch, breathing big, and slowly exhale. Let's release it down. Great. Let's begin to lift that left knee now. We're going to go into a gentle little twist here. So bringing that left foot up over top of the extended right leg. Bring yourself to a nice tall sit. You can hold on to your knee and bring yourself into a tall sit, activating your belly here. And then we're going to begin to, again, slide that left hand back behind us. We'll take the right arm and reach across. So finding this nice rotation of the chest, taking a little bend to the elbow here, and then slowly, with our breath, beginning to take ourselves back. Rotating back, rotating your gaze if that's accessible for your neck, drawing the belly in. So when we find twists, we eliminate toxins from the body, which really assists us in building our immune system, making us healthier and stronger. We'll slowly release, and we're going to come back into center. Let's release that leg now, all the way down to the mat. Sitting nice and tall, let's take a nice inhale, reach it up, and exhale. Let's release. We'll move on to the other side by drawing the right knee in, and then simply allowing for that right knee to come off to its side. Here is a good place for a blanket or a block on the outer side of that knee if you're finding that your knee is quite lifted up off of the floor. Let's keep the left toes extended, left leg extended, growing tall through that inhale. As you exhale, slowly coming forward. Using your breath, slowly finding a descent. Bringing the hands to any part of the legs or mat that allows you to relax your shoulders. Lift out of the base of your spine, drawing the crown of the head forward, relaxing your head, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Taking one more nice long breath here. Begin to gaze up over your toes, extending those arms long, maybe framing your ears here. Inhale, reaching up nice and tall, and exhale, release it down. At this time, the right hand will come back behind the right hip and we'll begin to extend the left arm. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side. Take a nice deep breath. And as we exhale, sweeping up, finding the knee and the shin, circling up, reaching nice and long, and slowly coming down. We'll take that 2 more times. Inhaling and exhale. One more time, coming down. And this time, finding that big circle with the arm, looking up toward the sky. You can even look toward the fingers. Nice big stretch. One more breath. Beautiful. And we're going to slowly come on down. So we'll come on down. Let's return that bent knee back into a straight position and extend both legs. So in extending both legs, we're going to move into Paschimottanasana. So here, you'll want to draw out the flesh from your sitting bones. You'll really want to feel the sitting bones. Again, we're taking a nice tall sit, so the lower belly is active here as well. We'll take a nice inhale, we'll reach all the way up, and as we exhale, we're going to slowly come forward. Any amount, nice long spine, reaching for your ankles, toes, shins, any part of your legs. Nice deep breath and release. Extend the top of your head toward your toes. The breath fills the back body, fills the side body. Take one more deep breath and let it go. We'll take the gaze up over our toes once more, extending the arms, frame your ears here, really reach forward through the fingertips. Inhale, rising up, and exhale, releasing down. Wonderful. From here, let's bend both knees, and let's begin to bring those feet off to the side. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So coming into tabletop, this can be strenuous on the wrist. So if throughout this practice at any time your wrist becomes strained, know that you can make a fist and use the tops of your fingers to come into your tabletop position. So in tabletop, we want to have an engaged belly. Our hips need to be right up over those knees and the wrists right under your shoulders. If you're bringing your palms down toward the earth, spreading the fingers wide, finding a little rotation here of the upper arms here, your triceps, so that the creases of your elbows are to face one another. So we'll begin by what I call wagging the tail. Take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, begin to gaze over your left shoulder, swinging those hips off to the right side, looking toward your feet or back of the mat. Inhale into center, and exhale. Other side. Inhale, and exhale. Inhaling, and exhale. We'll take that 2 more times to each side. Come back to center. Let's take 3 breaths here, remembering that count that you may have established at the beginning of the class, silently counting breaths in and out for 3 rounds. We're going to continue now on our hands and knees and begin our cat-cow pose. So in the cat-cow, the belly gets soft, the chest moves forward, slight little bend in the elbows, and your gaze moves forward, tailbone moves back. Exhale, curling the pelvis under, rounding the spine, 1 vertebra at a time, pressing through your hands and tucking your chin in. Releasing through the pelvis, so working slowly through the spine, head coming up last, heart opening. Exhale, start to round the tailbone, rounding the spine and coming back. So let's continue to move through this for 4 more. Working with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, unless you feel that exhale through the mouth really brings you some relief and stress and easing any tension. Remember that this is your practice, so it's important for you to breathe and move in a way that makes you feel good. Let's take 1 more here. And relax it out. Wonderful. From here, we're going to work in a little bit of a flow using our breath From this tabletop position, we'll be moving into child's pose and back. So relaxing your head, gazes toward the earth, take a nice deep breath. And as we exhale, slowly lowering the hips down toward your heels. Extend your arms from here. So extending, finding a nice child's pose, relaxing down. And now we'll start to move with that breath. So we'll inhale, find your tabletop. Exhale it back and down. This will be our last round, inhaling up and exhaling, coming all the way down, taking a moment at the bottom here and resting the forehead, really let go, maybe crawling those hands a little further forward, extending the sides of your body, feeling a beautiful shoulder and arm stretch as well. One more nice deep breath. Slowly we'll come to rise and come back into that tabletop position. It might require now for your hands to move back just a smidge, getting those wrists right back under your shoulders. From here, we're going to take our right hand and bring it in a bit towards center of mat so that if you're gazing down from the tip of your nose, you'll find that space between your index finger and middle finger. We'll begin to lift up, opening up the chest, bringing that left arm all the way up. Maybe your gaze goes up. And we're going to exhale right through the space between the knee and the wrist and come on through. And inhale, rising up. And exhale, coming through. Inhaling up. And exhaling. This last time, we're going to inhale all the way up. And as we exhale, we're going to settle down onto our mat. So just releasing down that left shoulder. You can use a blanket or a block on the side of your head if you're not able to meet the mat with your ear or side of head. And then we're going to extend that opposite arm toward the sky. So we're getting a nice shoulder stretch here as well as opening up the heart. So we'll keep that arm extended and long, and then we're going to practice some circles here for our shoulders. So let's begin to circle the whole arm. And again, if this is something that does not feel good for your shoulder, you can just keep that arm extended. We're going to take just one more circle here. And finding a nice tall reach. Now, while we're here, we're going to rotate our wrists to warm our wrists for 4 circles. Coming to a pause here as you complete your 4th, and then circling that wrist in the opposite direction for 4. Extending the arm long, find a nice open heart here, and then slowly lowering that right hand right to that area in front of the face here, and pressing down, inhaling, bringing that left arm back up to the sky, looking up, nice open heart, and exhale, bringing it down. We're going to go to doing that on the other side. So this time the left hand comes a bit towards center of your mat. Again, just checking in that alignment of nose to index and middle finger, spreading the fingers wide. We'll take a nice inhale and open this time to the right side. So reaching up, pressing the earth away and reaching the right fingertips toward the sky, and exhaling through and reaching and coming back. And exhale, coming through. And inhaling. And exhale. Our final one here will settle the shoulder down, settle the side of the head. Reaching as long as you can through the left fingers, placing, through the right fingers rather. Left hand coming to your mat, inhaling that left arm up. So reaching, opening up, and let's start to circle the arm here. So circling for 4, and final one here, reaching back up toward the sky for a nice big stretch. And we'll start to work our wrist here. So 4 circles of the wrist. Palm can stay open. If a fist feels better, you can certainly take a fist. And come back to a neutral position and go in the opposite direction for 4. Pausing here, reaching up, opening up the chest, and then relaxing that left hand back toward the mat, pressing down. Inhaling, opening that right arm up to the sky, and exhaling, coming back down into a neutral position. From here, we're going to stretch further now toward the front of the mat. Let's take our hands and walk them forward. We'll walk them forward and we'll start to extend the hips back toward our heels again, softening through the heart, extending long, nice shoulder stretch here, relaxing the head down. So we'll just take 2 breaths here, nice deep breath in, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. Slowly beginning to lift the upper body, bringing the wrists back under your shoulders for support, coming back into a strong tabletop. We're going to begin to work now on a bit of core and a bit of balance. So let's begin to take our left leg and extend it back, turning the toes down and press into your heels. So pressing back into your heels, feeling a nice, strong, long stretch to the back of the left leg. Now using the core muscles and the glutes, slowly lift the leg up. So extending the leg, toes are down, energetically pressing out through your heel. We're going to bring the weight to the left hand and find some lightness in the right, extending it forward. And then we'll bring that arm up right beside your ear. So we're coming into this broken table shape, nice strong core supporting the stretch. Now we're going to add on to this with our breath. So inhaling, and as we exhale, pinky and toe comes down, and then we lift. So we're going to take 5 here. And final 1. Holding here for 2 more breaths. And slowly releasing the hand and slowly bringing down the knee. Now, if for any reason you're feeling any strain in the wrist, you can sit back on your heels and roll that left wrist. You can also stay in tabletop and roll that left wrist. Roll it in both directions. Great. We'll set back up into our tabletop so that we can work the other side. Extending the right leg, turning those toes down, pushing down and back through your heels. So setting the hips back just a bit. Take a couple of breaths, relax your neck. Now through the next exhalation, let's find a lift in the leg, engaging the core muscles, engaging the glutes, the backs of the legs, hamstrings, pressing out energetically through your heel, toes are down toward the earth, and hips are neutral to the floor. Let's shift the weight a bit into the right hand, extend the left, and frame the ear with that left arm. Take a moment to find your balance here. And we're going down for 5, big toe and pinky for 1. Use your breath. We're going to hold here for 2 more rounds of breath. Slowly releasing the left hand, right knee comes back beneath you. Again, you can sit back on your heels if that's comfortable for you and rotate your wrists, or you can stay in that tabletop position, just shifting your weight. Rolling the wrists in both directions. Gathering your breath. Good, and then we'll come back to a tabletop position. So let's come back to a tabletop position here. We're going to begin to work on the hips. So we'll start with hydrants. We'll begin to bring the left knee off to the side. So you can tuck the left toes here to begin. Shift your weight a bit into the right side of your body, lifting out and lowering down. So see if you can hover that left knee to the ground. We're going to take 3 more lifts. Again, the core is engaged. And come back down. Now we're going to circle here at the hips. Left knee comes to left elbow, circling out, back, and down. Breathing through. We have 3 more. Settle down the knee, settle down the foot. Take a moment now to roll your pelvis. So let's roll the pelvis. We'll come back into our tabletop here and prepare to do that same series on the other side. Shifting your weight slightly to the left, tucking the right toes. Let's take 6 hydrants out to the side. Hovering the knee and shin if you can. If you need to touch it down, that's fine too. Great, now we're going to take that right knee toward the right elbow, circle it out, back and down for 6. And final one here, bring it all the way down. Great. Once again, we're going to sit back onto our heels. Let's sit up nice and tall. Let's bring the hands together in prayer, interlace, and circle both wrists. Go in the opposite direction. Come into stillness here. Let's bring the hands together and then fingertips together. Bring the fingertips down, backs of hands down, pressing the backs of the hands together while elbows are wide. Breathing into your wrists. Great, you can shake those hands, shake those wrists out. Perfect. Now we'll come back to tabletop. We're going to bring ourselves now down to the mat fully. So extending your legs back, let's come down to the mat. So we're coming down to the mat. We're going to work on our first pranayama here. So let's stack our hands. Let's bring the elbows off to the side, relaxing your chest. Take a moment to just find a little bit of a rock through your hips here. And then slowly relax your forehead down onto your backs of your hands. So we're coming into crocodile breath here. See if you can turn your heels externally, long edge of your mat, big toes coming in toward one another. And I just want you to focus on 5 rounds of breath, increasing the depth in which your abdomen is meeting the mat, and then feeling the release as you exhale and draw the navel in toward the spine. So we'll just relax the whole body here. So get soft towards your mat. Feel the heaviness here and begin to take those breaths, keeping in mind that nice smooth rhythm of breathing that we engaged in at the beginning of class. So whatever that number was that you counted, maybe it was 4 breaths in or 4 breaths out, or 5 breaths in or 5 breaths out. Resting your head and start to inflate the belly, press it into the ground. And as you exhale, feel the navel drawing up toward the spine and the body almost lifting from the mat. Even though it's not, you're just going to feel that sensation. Expand through the front body again. And exhale. In and out through your nose, nice steady breathing. Last big round of breath here. Great, now begin to lift your head. Let's turn those heels back in so that the bottoms of the feet are meeting the earth. Feel all 10 toes. And then begin to bring the hands beside the chest, rolling the elbows back toward your rib cage, lifting the head. We're going to go into a flow here now from cobra to child's pose. So taking a breath, as you exhale, lifting the heart, drawing the chest forward, elbows coming to a less of a bend, shoulders into the back, taking your gaze up, and then exhaling, coming down. So that's our cobra. We'll inhale now into cobra. We'll exhale down and press all the way back into child's pose. Inhaling into a tabletop, exhaling down. Inhaling to cobra. Exhaling down. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you come to child's pose. Inhaling to tabletop. Exhaling down, thighs, pelvis, chest. Inhale up to cobra. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale as you press up to table. Exhale it back to child's pose. Let's go through that flow 3 more times. We're all going to meet back in child's pose as you complete your last round. Take a moment to sit all the way back into your child's pose. Remember, broadening of the knees from one another gives you a little more space for your abdomen. So if you need to go ahead and do that, you can bring your knees a little wider. Take 2 breaths here at the bottom. We'll come back into our tabletop and slowly lower ourselves again to our mat. So belly down toward our mat. We're going to come into Sphinx pose from here. So forearms this time come to the mat, backs of hands or palms of hands. And we're going to just work on bringing those elbows under the shoulders. And a great way to do that is to just wrap your hands around your elbows. And that should ensure proper placement for the elbows. Releasing the hands and forearms forward, really making a firm connection through the elbows, forearms, palms, and fingers. Keeping the tops of the feet down toward your mat, rolling the shoulders into the back, begin to draw the sternum forward. So drawing yourself forward, and imagine gripping your mat and pulling the elbows, forearms, and hands back as your shoulders relax. Now find length through your neck. Imagine looking over the front edge of your mat as if you were looking down from a cliff here, extending through the crown of your head, and just feel a nice elongation of the spine. Take a nice deep breath. Settle the shoulders into the back for one more breath. Now we'll release. Start to let those elbows move off to the side, lowering your chest, stacking those hands. And let's bring the feet up toward the sky as we relax the forehead down. We're going to take our feet and legs from side to side. Find a little rocking of your pelvis here. So the opposite hip and pelvis lift to where your feet are going here. So rocking it out. Let's just take one more to each side. Bringing the legs into a neutral position, upper body is relaxed, keeping the forehead onto the hands. We're going to now just circle the ankles here. So let's circle our feet. Let's take 6 rotations. And now bottoms of the feet are down, are facing the sky again, and we'll go in the opposite direction now. So taking 6 circles in the opposite direction. Good, and as you complete, we'll come back into stillness and relax those legs down. We're going to move into Shalabhasana here. So let's lift the head from the arms and slowly bring the arms down the side of the body. Palms are to face down. You can rest your forehead down on the mat. Bringing the legs together here, bringing the forehead down. We're going to work on the lower half of the body first. So taking a breath here, finding a rock through your pelvis. So make sure you can feel your pubic bone and your hips touching down toward the mat. Lifting the navel away from the mat as you feel that nice deep connection through the pelvis and the hips. Taking a breath and finding a lift through the legs, extending through the balls of your feet, really pressing down toward the hips, and then slowly lowering. Let's do that for 3 more counts. So we'll inhale, lift, and lower, lift, and lower. Final one, lifting and lowering. Good. Now relax the legs, tops of feet are meeting the mat. Now we'll work on the upper body. So we'll take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, lifting up, reaching fingers back toward your feet, and slowly lowering. Inhale, exhale. Slowly lowering, and one last time. Inhale, and exhale, reach. And slowly lower. Let's bring the hands back under the head. Let's bring a bend again to those knees, and let's just gently rock those feet again. So come into that windshield wipering. Steadying the legs and bringing them back down toward your mat. Extending your feet, and we're going into a variation here. So let's lift the head and extend our arms out in front. You can drop your head back down in between. We'll be lifting opposite arm and opposite leg here. So again, we're going to rock through the pelvis, feeling the pubic bone and the hips, drawing the navel in toward the spine, feeling a deeper connection. So that is our base here. Relaxing your head down. Taking a breath in, and as we exhale, lifting right arm and left leg, lifting the head up. Take 2 breaths. And slowly lower. Lower everything down. Take a cycle of breath in between. Firming the pelvis and the hips. Once again, lifting the navel. Take a breath in. As we exhale, left arm, right leg lifts. 2 breaths. Lower everything down. Relax your head, relax your legs, relax everything. Deep breath. Let it go. Now we're going to go into what's called swimming. So we're going to lift the head. We're going to lift right arm and left leg, firming down the pelvis and the hips. And then we're going to switch. And see if you can hover each side, switching back and forth for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower everything down. Lift the head, bring the hands back underneath the forehead, elbows are wide. Bring the feet up toward the sky. Little gentle rock from side to side. Bringing the feet and legs into a steady position, releasing down. Now we're going to roll our way onto the right side body. So let's roll our way onto the right side body for a nice quad stretch. So let's relax the head down onto that right arm. Position your left hand so that you can find balance here. You can take a bend to your right knee for balance, if that assists you. Then we're going to take a bend to the left knee and reach back for that ankle. Maybe we even reach up over top of the foot and find a nice quad stretch here. So take a nice deep breath, roll the shoulder back, a nice open heart. Let it go. One more breath. And we'll slowly release. Let's release and roll ourselves back onto the belly. And we'll bring that stretch to the opposite side, extending the left arm, rolling to the left side body. And again, the left leg can stay extended or a gentle bend for balance. Bending through the right, reaching back for your foot or ankle. Begin to draw the heel in toward your glutes. Finding that right shoulder blade into the back, slowly guiding that right knee back and away. Nice deep breath here for 2 breaths. And let's slowly release. So we'll come back onto our bellies. Let's bring the hands beside the chest. Come on up to tabletop. Bring your knees wide, and we're going to settle into a child's pose for just a breath or 2. So let's settle back. Let's extend those arms. Soften through the belly, soften through the chest, and slowly release the head down. Take a couple of moments to assess the body. Notice areas here that feel warm, that feel open. You can take a variation on child's pose here and bend the elbows, bringing the hands up over top of head. Taking just 2 more rounds of breath. Let's release those hands. Come back into a tabletop position here. And we're going to bring ourselves back onto our seat. Let's bring those legs forward, walking your feet to the front of the mat. Bring a bend to your knees, bring the feet down to the ground. And we're going to slowly bring ourselves onto our backs from here. So let's come all the way down to our backs. And let's begin to just bring both knees into the chest for a moment. So bringing both knees in toward the chest, gently hugging in the knees or the backs of the thighs. Crown of head is long, neck is long, so be mindful where your chin is placed. If your chin is pointing up toward the sky, that can cause some damage or crunching of the back of the neck. So let's bring that chin down. And we're going to begin to extend here the left leg. We're going to hold on to that right knee or thigh and give ourselves a nice big stretch here. Breath in and breath out. We'll release the right leg all the way down and bring the left knee into the chest. Elbows are wide. Let's interlace up over the knee. Take a nice big breath. And we'll then bring the left foot down to the mat this time, and we'll bring the right foot right beside it, hip distance apart. So let's go for hip distance apart here. And we're going to begin to just rock the pelvis. So when we're rocking the pelvis, the hips stay stationary to the ground. You can keep your hands here over the hips just to ensure that there's no lift. We're taking the pubic bone and rolling it up towards sky. So just feel the low back meeting the earth and then simply rolling it forward and feel that space beneath the base of your spine. So if you had your hand underneath, you'd kind of be squeezing down the hand. So that's a good way to test and see, am I really just moving the pelvis or am I moving something more? So just take a few rocks here of the pelvis. This is great to warm up our low spine, release any tension that might exist there. We'll rock just 2 more times. And we'll come to a neutral position. Good, relax it down. Now, if you have a block, let's grab our block and bring our block in between the knees. If you don't have a block, it's okay. You can go without a block. Let's take that block and bring it between the knees, keeping the feet underneath the hips, bringing the arms down the side of the body. We're going to take a little squeeze in toward the block and begin to tilt that pelvis up and come into a bridge pose. So let's lift up into a bridge pose. Find the tops of your shoulders. So it's a modified bridge here. Chin is in toward your chest. Really firming your feet down. Feel a nice engagement through the legs and the hips. Holding here. Now we're going to begin to just kind of drop the hips midway to the mat and then lifting up. And if you have a block, you're going to bring an extra little squeeze between the block and your knees. So we're going to take a few more, lifting and lowering, using your breath. And final one, we're going to just hold here for 2 big breaths. Now slowly descending 1 vertebra at a time, relaxing the spine down, relaxing the low back down, bring the hips down, relax the tailbone, settle everything down. And if you have that block, you can bring your knees on in and just grab a hold of the block and place it off to the side. Great. Now from here, we're going to work on connecting with our breath. So you can keep nice bent knees. We'll bring our right hand to our navel and left hand to heart. You can close your eyes here for a moment. Take a breath and bring the breath into the belly. So you want to feel the rise and the fall of the right hand. Take 5 breaths here. As you complete that 5th breath, shift that right hand to the rib cage. Taking 5 more breaths, bring the breath from the abdomen to the rib cage. So you'll focus on the right hand again, rising and falling in through the rib cage. As you complete the 5th breath here, the next 5 breaths will begin from the navel through the rib cage to the left hand that's on the chest. So you can place that right hand on either on the navel or the ribs, whichever you feel more appropriate for you to feel your breath. And let's take 5 more breaths. Last big breath. And let it go. Encourage both knees to move in toward your chest, grabbing hold of the backs of the legs. We're going to roll here for a little spinal massage here. So this is great for the spinal cord, and we're going to use our weight and our breath to lift us up and roll us back. So take a nice deep breath. And as we exhale, rolling up and then rolling back and rolling up and rolling back. Take 3 more rolls. Last one. And come to the top of your mat. Let's bring our feet off to the side and let's come to a standing position. So we're going to come into standing now on our mat. We're going to work on a little bit of balance as well as bringing a little more movement in through the hips, the knees, and the feet. So come into a mountain pose, finding the base of your feet to meet the earth. Find a nice tall stance, relax your shoulders down and back, and then we're going to begin to bring our hands onto our waist. We're going to shift our weight slightly into the left leg, so keeping engagement here, lifting the right knee, engaging the right quad, and beginning to lift your heel. Just come to the toes here on the left side. And then we're going to begin to bring that knee forward and flex the foot so that the base of the foot is down toward the earth. And from here, we're going to start to circle the leg on out to the side. So working on some more hip circles, but also building some strength in through that standing leg. We're going to take just 2 more circles using your breath. And if for some reason your balance is challenged, you can bring a chair alongside and hold on to the back of the chair. Now we're going to go through and take that leg back in the opposite direction. So circling back and forward for 3 more. Use your breath. And final one. Great, let's bring ourselves forward here. So holding the leg out, let's point and flex the feet. Let's take 2 more. Now flexing that foot and circling. 2 more circles. And come to stillness. Great. Let's go 5 in the other direction with that ankle. Excellent. Slowly relax that leg down. Now shift your weight to the left side. Give your right leg a bit of a shake. Breathe it out. And we'll come back into that standing position. Let's take a cleansing breath to just release any tension here. Inhale it up. Exhale, let it go. Good, we'll prepare for the other side. Hands come on hips, making sure you have a firm foundation through your feet. So give yourself a bit of a rock. And now we're transferring weight to the left side. So activating the left leg, drawing the knee up, activating your quad, lifting the right heel. Take a moment to find this balance. Engage in your belly, your core, and slowly lift on up. Flexing the foot. We're going to circle out for 4. Using your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Final 1. Coming forward again, take a moment to pause, be with your balance, and go in the opposite direction for 4. And let's come back to center. Now let's point and flex the foot. Last one and hold. Now let's circle the ankle. Pausing in opposite direction. Great, take a moment for balance and slowly lower that leg down, shift into the right leg. Let's shake that left leg. Good, let's come back into a standing position. Let's take another cleansing breath in and exhale. So we're going to move into a yoga mudra here. I'm going to turn myself to the side. We'll inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Nice tall stance. Find that mountain pose. Let's inhale the arms all the way up. You can take the gaze up, palms come together. As you exhale, bringing the hands back behind you. Little bend to the elbow as you clasp your hands and extend the arms, lifting your heart. Taking a breath, let's bring a gentle bend into the knees, heart is forward, and slowly bring yourself down. Relax your head, drawing the arms up and over. Take a moment to be here, and then experiment with extending the backs of your legs, one at a time. Maybe some of us can lengthen the backs of the legs completely, or keep them at a bend. One more breath. And slowly begin to lift the heart, the head, lowering the arms, and slowly coming up to a nice tall stance. Let's release the arms, inhale them up, and exhale. Now we'll work on another pranayama, breath work. So it's important that we bring joy into our lives. We need to invite the energy into our lives. So this pranayama is called breath of joy. And so it requires 2 quick inhalations through the nostrils, 1 big exhalation through the mouth, and we're going to fold forward while bending the knees. So as we take our inhales through the nose, we kind of bring in the joy. So think about scooping it up, right? Scooping it in, I should say, and then bring it all the way down. So that's kind of what it looks like. So turn your palms up. And let's prepare. So 2 quick breaths from the nose and a big exhalation through your mouth, and make a ha sound, H-A sound. So we'll repeat this for 7 times. Take your time. There is a possibility you could feel dizzy, so try to pace your breath so that it feels comfortable. You can linger at the bottom if you need to. So let's begin. Final one. Take it up big. And exhale it down. Inhale the arms all the way up, looking up. Exhale it out. Inhaling up and exhale it out. Now let's find our mountain pose. Just take a moment. I don't know about you, but the sides of my mouth want to curl up. I almost can feel the joy surging through my body. So a little playful, bring in some fun, bring in some joy. So joy and being joyful is one of the most important things to balance our nervous system and to keep us from being anxious. And it also assists us with having a healthy immune system. So let's stand nice and tall. Maybe just close your eyes, relax your shoulders, take a nice deep breath. Exhaling. And just take a moment to notice the energy of your body. Notice your state of being. Maybe there's still a smile on your face. Take just 2 more breaths. And then slowly open your eyes. Great, we're going to come back onto the mat. So let's bring ourselves back onto the mat gently, sitting down, rolling ourselves back. Let's bring those knees back into the chest. We're going to take a supine twist here, and then we'll close with a nice Shavasana. So let's bring our feet down to the mat. And today we're going to bring the right leg up over the left leg, crossing the legs as if you were sitting on a park bench. We're extending those arms out and just checking that your wrists are out from your shoulders on both sides. We'll take a breath, and as we exhale, let's begin to drop the knees to the left side of our body, turning the right hip up toward the sky for a nice supine twist of the spine. If it feels good and you want to bring that left hand to your hip and slowly slide it down the leg, relax the legs down. Maybe you'll even turn your gaze here. Turning your gaze to the right side, relaxing it out. One more nice deep breath. Slowly bringing your gaze back into neutral. You can bring the left arm back and slowly let's bring ourselves back. We'll go to the other side, unraveling the legs, adjusting your spine and hips. Left thigh comes up over the right. Taking a breath in. Through that exhale, begin to turn the left hip up toward the sky as the knees begin to fall to the right side body. So settling. Nice deep breath. Maybe that right hand will come to your hip and then slowly slide it down the thigh, down toward the knee. Just resting here. Let the arm, the weight of the arm, bring in a slightly deeper stretch. You might begin to turn your gaze and look down the left arm, keeping the left shoulder and upper arm relaxed. You will close your eyes, nice, gentle, easy breaths. One more nice, steady breath. And slowly we'll start to bring the head back. We'll release that right arm back down and bringing the legs back into center. Unravel your legs. Let's bring both knees in once you adjust your spine and hips. Give yourself a hug here, maybe wrapping the forearms up over the knees. If you're not able to do that, just holding on to the backs of the legs, maybe closing your eyes. And just taking a moment here to give yourself thanks for showing up on the mat. A moment of gratitude for our bodies, for the time that we shared, for our health and well-being, for the joy. And then you can slowly release. You can bring your feet down to the mat as we begin to prepare for Shavasana. So we can begin to extend one leg at a time. Adjusting the body, adjust your clothing. And lifting the pelvis up toward the sky, releasing the flesh from your hips and sitting area down toward your heels. Pressing through the back of the head, lifting the heart, rolling the shoulders down the back. Start to feel yourself settling here. Gently releasing the arms off to the side of your body. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. As you exhale, encourage your eyes to close. Tucking your chin in slightly, keeping the mouth closed and relaxed. Breathe in and out through your nose. Taking the first couple of moments of Shavasana to just feel and notice your body. Bring awareness to the calmness, the softness of the body. Notice the lightness of your heart, the space, the joy. Remain in Shavasana for as long as you feel you would like to stay. Enjoying the rest. Enjoying the space. Being with each and every sensation that you may be experiencing. Finding your peace. I want to thank you all for joining me in this practice. May the peace and the light in me honor the peace and the light in each of you. May the rest of your day be filled with happiness and joy. Namaste.